Hi everyone in English 2323, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 12 instructional video. Wow, just saying that is surprising. We have come so far. I can't get over it. Anyhow, let's go ahead and jump into what the expectations and assignments are for this week. So if I go to the week 12 module, this is what appears, and it should look familiar, right? It's in our course schedule. So we are going to read a short story by Chimamanda Adichie. Remember we watched her TED Talk at the beginning of the semester, The Danger of a Single Story, which I'd like you to rewatch just so that we get just that much more context for her biography as well as her short story, which is called Checking Out. So the last day to withdraw with a W from courses is today. So hopefully you've been in touch with professors if you feel like this might be the best route for you. This is typically something that I urge students to really consider if they are just not able to put in the kind of time and effort into a course, and now's the time to kind of make that decision before it affects your overall GPA negatively, right? I don't have concerns in our course. I think there's so much left in the semester in terms of grades, even though we are at week 12, we still have, 2 or 3 pretty large grades left, and that can change the landscape of our overall semester grades. So, but for other courses, just be aware that today is the last day to do that. So you're watching the weekly instructional video, and I'd like you to go ahead and watch the multimedia project video because I would like you to complete a multimedia project plan on Thursday. I'm really emphasizing the plan part of this because I don't know what to name this assignment because it confuses everybody. Everybody, at least one person in every class thinks, oh my gosh, the multimedia project itself is due, but that is not the case. It is just the plan. I want you to watch the video, see what is required, what is a part of that assignment, and start to really plan out how you're going to achieve this. It is not due this week. The plan itself is due, yes, but the actual project, look at the course schedule to see when that is due. I want you to just start thinking ahead, and that's why I have required a plan for that. So you also have, of course, the participation quiz, which is based on this video, Chimamanda Adichie's TED Talk, all the readings, etc. Okay. I'm going to keep emphasizing this. So the multimedia project instructional videos here, if you want to watch it on YouTube or have have it open directly in D2L so it doesn't take you to YouTube. Here are the guidelines, but I do go over those bit by bit in the video. So let's talk about the plan. This is the assignment section. And so what this really offers is a chance for us to think through our project and get some feedback from me before you complete it, right? There is pretty rarely a situation where students look at the video, look at the expectations, and then go in a completely wrong direction. But the plan just gives me a sense of what you're, what project you're going for, what you'd like to do. It kind of is a phase to run it past me, but also really pushes you to start fleshing something out, right? It's not due this week, it's not due next week, but it's coming up, and I want you to really start thinking about what you would like to do, how you'd like to accomplish it, because the multimedia project itself should take some time, okay? So make sure you watch the guidelines, make sure you watch the video before completing the plan. So like I said, start whenever, get a jump start on it because it's always going to take a little bit longer than you probably originally think. Again, most students are going to head in the right direction, but there is that chance, that some students will submit something because they maybe are misunderstanding because I'm not explaining it well. They're, the way I explain it isn't the way your brain is going to comprehend it. So this is a chance for us to make sure that this really large grade doesn't end up being catastrophic, right? You have a plan. Note that there is a place for you to draft the actual paragraph that will be included. So we do need to do a little bit of thought and research. And it is a draft, but I do expect, do some research, put information in there, right? You'll also want to create a realistic timeline. So I'm saying all this, but let's go ahead and take a look at the assignment so some of this makes a bit more sense. Okay, it's downloading. Hold on. Okay, that took a lifetime. So this is what the plan looks like, and this is, space where you can expand, you can, have plenty of space to type in your response here. So this is urging you to really consider what text, author from our course inspired your project and why. And I want you to think about answering these questions because a lot of this will actually end up being part of what you submit, because the project is not only is there a creative element, but there's also writing, right? Research-based writing. So I want you to describe your project format. So are you going to make a video? Are you going to make a PowerPoint? Like, what is the medium, right? What is the medium of choice? And this is not you committing, right? This is you just thinking of a plan. If things change down the road, that's fine. As long as it's, something that still falls within the guidelines, right? So think about if you want to make a PowerPoint or a video or, poetry, if you want to bake something, if you want to make something. I mean, the possibilities are limitless. This will be more clear once you watch the video, right? How will you show effort? A big part of this, remember, the grade is not necessarily about, if you choose to do a painting, I'm not grading how, quote unquote, good that painting is. I really want to see the effort. So are you going to take pictures in each stage? If you're writing something, are you going to take screenshots of drafts and share those, right? So really consider how you will show the effort. Oftentimes it's going to be with pictures, right? And you can compile those pictures in a video or in a PowerPoint. I think the only assignment or the only creative element I can think of that wouldn't necessarily require to show effort is an actual video, right? Because the video itself is showing that effort because it needs to be edited, doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be put together in some sort of way, right? So what is your general timeline? So really, I mean, if you need to, like Friday after Thanksgiving, I'm doing this. Sunday, I'm spending an hour doing this. This is when I'm doing research, so really think of a timeline, right? So just answer these questions as thoroughly as you can. And remember, this is not you committing to something incredibly specific yet. I just want you to think about these kinds of things after watching the video and seeing some of the examples. The guidelines have links to examples and the video covers some of that as well, right? This is just a plan. The actual project itself is not due. Okay. You also have your quiz, which will of course be over Adichie's writing and her TED Talk. So make sure that you're taking some time with that. The last thing I want to discuss with you is that I am going to do something that's a bit unprecedented. This is not something that I've done in the past, but I'm just hearing from a lot of you, and I know that it's not been the easiest time for everyone. And that's always the case. Every semester, we're going to go through stuff. Life happens. That's why we have the extension period or the grace periods and stuff. But there are going to be times when perhaps things are a bit more intense than others. And so I've been hearing from quite a bit of you, and I feel for you, right? And I'm very sympathetic and empathetic. It's not been the easiest semester, I don't think, for any of us. So what I'm going to do is, again, unprecedented, I'm going to offer an extension period for you to submit work that perhaps you missed in the past. And this is going to, for our course, really apply to everything. For uploaded assignments, yes, it may mean that you only receive partial credit, but I'm not looking to, if you put all this effort in, give you 10 points, right? It's going to be more than half the credit if you meet all the guidelines and expectations. But again, I am going to open everything for this semester and give you 1 week from Sunday. And this is a hard deadline. I'm not offering grace periods. I'm not doing anything. This is 1 week for you to submit those assignments, those quizzes, etc. In the hopes that this is helpful, right? And this is, the partial credit is because other folks were getting their work in. I want this to be somewhat fair, and so it means partial credit for the assignments, but it's still something, right? And something is always going to be better than nothing. You're also still, you still have the option to submit those bonus credit assignments, so make sure you're looking in the student success area. Um, if you have questions, yes, you can reach out and let me know, but this is one of those things where I'm not posting this anywhere. This is one of those, if you watch this video, if you're paying attention, then this is for you, right? This is something that I'm extending to all of you, and I hope as many of you take advantage of it as need be, especially because when it comes to the end of the semester, I want you to feel like you have done everything you possibly can to get the best possible grade, because I don't round up with grades. I offer bonus credit. It's one of those things where even if you're making a 95 in the course right now, you may want a little extra cushion somewhere. So do the bonus credit assignments, or revise, resubmit. If you submitted an assignment, you can still revise it and resubmit it to try to get more credit through this extension period. This is not just for folks who weren't able to submit the first time around. So it is up to you. I will always take the highest grade if you submit 2 things, right? So I'm hoping that this helps. But again, it's one of those, if you need to plan ahead for potentially, not submitting something in the future, this is for you to make the decision. But it is 1 week. I will close everything down again on Sunday of this upcoming week, so the 16th. So you do have that time. And I hope those of you who need it will take advantage of it, but those of you who don't want to take advantage of it, you certainly don't have to. This is completely optional and up to those of you who want to, do that work. But it is work that's, we have other stuff to do this week, so focus on this week and do what you can outside of that. I hope this helps. I hope y'all have a good week. We're heading into just the last few weeks, especially because we do have a holiday week coming up. Make plans. That's why we're doing our multimedia project plan right now. Okay. All right. Let me know what you need, and good luck this week.